bonds are screaming we are moving into recession louder than they have in the past 45 years.
So I gave you this warning from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange 2 weeks ago. Now let me show you the data that backs it up. This bond market warning has predicted the last 6 out of 6 recessions. It's batting 1,000 and it's screaming red right now.
So what you're looking at here is the history of the yield curve. You'll see 6 red circles on this graph. Those represent times when the yield curve was inverted. I'll explain what that means in a minute, but every single time the yield curve inverts, it's followed by a recession soon thereafter. The average recession starts 13 months after the yield curve initially inverts. Right now, the yield curve is currently inverted more than it has been since 1980, and the yield curve started its inversion this time around in July of 2022.
So what is an inverted yield curve? An inverted yield curve means short-term bonds have a higher yield than long-term bonds. That's abnormal. And why it's happening right now is because the Federal Reserve controls short-term bond yields. And what they've done is push them higher aggressively over the last year to fight inflation. Now, why would the yield curve normalize and uninvert, if you will? The only reason that would happen is if the Federal Reserve would cut interest rates. Why would the Federal Reserve cut interest rates? The only reason to do that is if we see a massive economic slowdown or a recession. So are we going into recession? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but it's tough to bet against something that's batting 1,000 like the yield curve inversion has done. Stay safe and diversify.